Entitled Mother Breaks My Friend's Phone Trying to Prove a False Claim. Okay, so this literally happened 20 minutes ago at the time of writing. And this story unfortunately is about my own mother. Yes. Anyway, let's get on with the story. My friend came over to my house to give me a trigonometry textbook for school, decided to stay for longer to play R6 with me on his laptop that he brought. Maybe 20 minutes go by and we're in my room playing casual matches when my mom suddenly starts pounding out the door demanding to be let in. I lock my door when I play video games because my mom has a habit of grabbing my mic while I'm playing and asking strangers what math they are doing in school. She's a math teacher and is super obsessed with math, but that's a story for another time. This time, she yells and says, "Where is my charger?" She starts banging the door so hard the door would probably break, so I get up and unlock it only to be yelled at even more at my mom. "Where is my phone charger?" I think it's important to note my friend and I don't use his phones. We both use Android phones and have no need for iPhone lightning cables. B. I don't have it. I won't take it. I have no use for the phone charger. My mom. "Well, yes you do, so give it back me." My mom. "Then your friend has it." My friend. "I use an Android too, I wouldn't take your iPhone charger." My mom. "Well, yes you do, so give it back, both of us." My friend. "I have no use for your charger because my phone uses a Type-C and you have a lightning port." My mom. "Well, it works for all phones. Show me your phone and I'll prove it to you." Before my mom can even say anything, she grabs his phone and storms into her room. As both are super confused and her trying to understand what logic she is using until she comes back into my room with a iPhone cable and his phone in hand. Yes, the cable she lost, my mom. "Well, explain this." Jams the iPhone cable into the phone. I had doors. She throws it back to my friend and she once again demands for the cable back. B. Don't you have it in your hands? My mom looks at her hands and realizes she has no cable and turns red, but then shifts the blame back to us. My mom. "Well, you shouldn't be talking back like a smart as me." She storms off knowing she just made a fool of herself, and we go on playing video games trying to forget what just happened because it made no sense. He leaves maybe 5 minutes later and everything goes back to normal until I get a text. It reads, "Dude, your mom jammed the cable in and broke my charging port." If you don't know what he just said, basically, and the phone cable is thin and the USB-C cable is thick and there's a little thing inside the port for you to charge, and my mom jammed it in so hard she broke the pin thing. Just search it up. I told my mom and she refuses to believe that was her fault, so yeah. I'll provide an update if anything changes, but that's what happened. If anyone is skeptical, I can post a video, but I don't know how, so we're gonna have to teach me how. Edit 1. If any of you were wondering, it is a Razer Phone 2 and he uses wireless charging to charge it. Also, my dad is trying to explain to my mom what she did and how USB-C and lightning are not the same, but is failing miserably. Also, my mom is not insane all the time, but she can go from normal to insane Karen mode in 10 seconds. It's the 4th of July. You have to wear red, white and blue. So fun stories that happened an hour ago. Great way to start your morning. I woke up early to go to my local thrift shop, wearing protection of course, cause I wanted to find some old drawers to upcycle and add to my room cause my regular drawers have gotten too crowded. Well, I didn't find anything, so I left and went down the street to this Mexican bakery for some hot chocolate and a concha when I was stopped by a woman at the bus station not even a few feet away. She was just your average middle-aged woman dressed in patriarchal colors with a bag of small firecrackers next to her. A girl who I thought was our daughter stopped me and said she likes my pants. I was wearing pink cargo pants with a white tank top. I thanked her, and as I was walking away I heard the mother pipe up, "You know you're supposed to wear red, white and blue today." Just loud enough to hear. "I beg your pardon." Honestly confused. It's the 4th of July, you have to wear red, white and blue to show your respect to your country. She said in a matter-of-fact tone. "Oh well, I don't like wearing blue." I don't know why that was my answer. It doesn't matter if you don't like it, you have to wear it. My husband is fighting in a war right now, so you should show some respect. her voice getting louder each time she has to keep talking. Just leave me alone. I start to walk away while she still screams. You're setting a bad example for the children. People like you are ruining our country. I didn't even acknowledge her and just kept walking. Joke's on her, this country is already ruined. Entitled Act steals boat motor, acts as his own attorney during a criminal trial, has fooled for a client. I am a long-time lurker and this is my first post. Although kids were not involved in this story, ED mentioned them during his testimony, so this story seemed like it may fit here. Cast B. Overworked prosecutor ED. Entitled Ag. There have been cases in this forum that resulted in the EP being arrested, and I thought there may be some interest as to what happens after the arrest. This happened many years ago when I was a deputy prosecutor handling misdemeanor cases. In this particular case, there was a street on a private beach with a series of houses in a remote area. There were other places that had public beach access, and this particular place was off the main road and not easily accessible. There was no reason to be there unless you are a resident of one of the houses or was visiting someone there. The ED drove into the neighborhood and stole a boat motor from one of the properties. A neighbor watched him put the motor into his truck, got the license plate number, and called the police. A deputy responded and pulled him over. A short time later, the deputy found the boat motor in the back of the truck and ED admitted he took it. ED was cited for misdemeanor theft. He wasn't taken into custody but given a notice to appear in court. This was typical for a non-violent property offense. I then got the case. So I was minding my own business, working in my office, when ED called and demanded to speak to me. He then demanded that I dismiss the charge against him. He didn't really have a coherent reason as to why, since he pretty much had been caught red-handed. He mainly yelled and was obnoxious. Legal tip number 1. Yelling at the prosecutor will not result in criminal charges going away, but it will result in having to deal with a cranky prosecutor. When he couldn't bully me into dismissing the charge, he then demanded that another prosecutor be assigned to his case. This did not happen. Legal tip number 2. People charged with crimes don't get to choose the prosecutors on their cases. The case is set for trial, he pleads not guilty, and elects to represent himself. At trial, I call as witnesses the neighbor, the boat motor owner, and the arresting deputy. ED presents a beachcombing defense that if he is able to keep a pretty shell he finds at the beach, he ought to be able to keep a boat motor. It didn't make a lot of sense. It really got interesting when he called himself as his own witness. He questioned himself by having a conversation with himself. Here's an example of how some of the actual testimony went. ED shifts to left side of the witness chair. Mr. Ed's last name. Do you have a motive to steal a boat? ED then shifts to the right side of the witness chair and looks at empty space that he had just occupied. No, I do not have a motive to steal a boat. ED slides to the left. Mr. Ed's last name. Do you like seafood? ED slides right. No, I do not like seafood. My kids do not like seafood. My wife likes seafood, but that's not a motive to steal a boat. I looked over at the arresting deputy who was sitting next to me as my designated law enforcement representative. He was watching with a horrified expression and I saw his lips silently form the words what? D. FCK. Later, when we were outside, the deputy told me how freaky he thought it was. It took the jury 15 minutes to find him guilty. I don't remember specifically what he got as a sentence, but it was likely only fines and community service since that was typical for the type of offense. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you on next video.